Ladies and gentlemen, in the last 11 hours or so, we have seen historic victories and humbling lessons right in front of our eyes. I just want to take a moment to take a look at what 2024's election mandate has meant for the big guns of Indian politics. For obvious reasons, let's start with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The war cry was 400 par, 400 par. Right now, the party on its own is not even crossing the halfway mark of 272. But fact is, Prime Minister Modi, with the alliance numbers, is in a comfortable position to be sworn in as the Prime Minister of the country for a third time. Historic, because the only time that a Prime Minister has got a third term in India has been Jawaharlal Nehru. But let's admit it, this is a dent to brand Modi. His Modi ki guarantee has failed to hit home. The margin of victory, in fact, in Banaras has dropped by 60%. So there are some questions being raised over that as well. Let's look at Rahul Gandhi. A big winner in this election. He has retained both Wayanad and the family bastion of Raebareli with a thumping victory. In fact, in Raebareli, he's managed to better his mother's margin by 10%. His victory margin is almost 4 lakh as it stands right now. It could increase or decrease by a bit. He's also proven that the Congress ki guarantee may not have been spoken about in the media, but did have resonance on the ground. He's also led the Congress party to its best ever tally in Uttar Pradesh in 2009, which means he's buried the ghost of 2014 and 2019. The Congress party from 52 is almost doubling its tally in 2024. This is a resurgence. What about Smriti Irani? Smriti Irani had fought the election from Amethi. She has had a humbling defeat to Kishori Lal Sharma, who's an aide of the Gandhi family. So from being the giant killer, she has now become the fallen giant. Uddhav Thackeray, another big winner in this election. He has successfully claimed the Shiva Sena and the Bala Sahib legacy. He's got the backing of the Marathi Manus. Irrespective of what the courts have said, the fact is that Maharashtra has spoken on who the real Shiva Sena is and who the real NCP is. Now, ladies and gentlemen, remember, there's an important election in Maharashtra coming up, the assembly election. This big victory for Uddhav Thackeray in Maharashtra has set the tone, possibly, for what is to come in the assembly elections. Again, staying with Maharashtra. Sharad Pawar has cut his nephew Ajit Pawar to size. He's showcasing that he still is holding sway over Maratha politics. Very importantly, you know, there was a battle between Pawar versus Pawar in Baramati, which is a family bastion. Supriya Sule, Sharad Pawar's daughter, has won Baramati. She has defeated Ajit Pawar's wife, Sunetra. West Bengal, Mamta Banerjee, she has retained her citadel. Now, with her big win, it's almost a sweep. She has brushed aside the BJP's challenge. She has also proven her detractors wrong over Sandesh Khali. Sandesh Khali, by the end of it, it turns out, was a big issue in media headlines, but not on the ground. I'm going to talk about another regional satrap, because this election story is also the story about regional satraps. Winning big, hitting it big. Chandrababu Naidu, ladies and gentlemen, he stormed back to power in style. Just 2 months ago, he was behind bars. He has swept aside Jagan Mohan Reddy's YSRCP. He's emerged as the kingmaker in the Lok Sabha, and he is the king in the state of Andhra Pradesh. He is poised to be the next chief minister of the state. Another regional satrap, Akhilesh Yadav, stunned the BJP with his stunning campaign in Uttar Pradesh. His poll pitch was what? It was paper leaks, it was inflation, it was jobs. It seems his poll pitch touched the heart of the voter in Uttar Pradesh. And here's the thing, even in Ayodhya, god of the BJP, where the Ram temple has just been built, he is warded of the BJP. A Samajwadi Party candidate has won Ayodhya. What about Yogi Adityanath, the chief minister of Uttar Pradesh, fairly popular, has done most things right? Then why is his tally down to half? That is a question they will have to answer. 62 in 2019, now down to 33/34. Yogi Adityanath is known as Bulldozer Baba. This is a setback for him. It seems that the Ram Mandir and the polarizing pitch in Uttar Pradesh has failed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's move ahead. The dust may have settled on the results today, but special speculation continues on whether Nitish Kumar and Chandrababu Naidu, two leaders who have dumped the BJP before over Narendra Modi, will do so again. Very intriguingly, Rahul Gandhi has hinted that the door is open. However, Rahul Gandhi's India ally Omar Abdullah is cautioning against horse trading and is urging for pre-poll alliances to be maintained. Essentially, the question on whether the India alliance will decide to sit in the opposition or try and form the government at the center with the help of the TDP and the JDU, that is an open question. Let's listen in to Rahul Gandhi and then to Omar Abdullah.
We're going to have a meeting with our partners, the India alliance partners. I believe that meeting is tomorrow. And these questions will be raised there, and they will be answered there. We respect our alliance partners, and we are not going to make statements in the press without asking them their opinion.
अब अगर किया है तो किया है, फिलहाल तो मुझे लगता है हमें जोड़ तोड़ की हुकूमत नहीं करनी चाहिए, हमें जोड़ तोड़ की सियासत नहीं करनी चाहिए. प्री पोल अलायंसेस जो रहे हैं, मेरा अपना मानना है कि प्रेसिडेंट राष्ट्रपति साहिबा को प्री पोल अलायंस के तौर पे जो है अपना फैसला करना चाहिए और जो लोगों का फैसला है वो हमें तस्लीम करना चाहिए.
Let me go straight across to a piece of breaking news that is coming into us this evening. We are now hearing that Chandrababu Naidu will be flying to the national capital tomorrow in a special flight. Chandrababu Naidu will have some discussions about, the cabinet, etc. He will also put his demands after meeting Janasena chief Pawan Kalyan to the Prime Minister. Chandrababu Naidu and Pawan Kalyan will extend, we believe, full support to the NDA. Chandrababu Naidu is likely to demand special status to Andhra Pradesh. Something, just by the way, intriguingly, Imran, you're joining us live on the show. Intriguingly, Jairam Ramesh had announced almost 4 hours ago. So this is a unique situation that is playing out. And it's absolutely interesting to see that today Chandrababu Naidu was supposed to hold a press conference, Imran. That press conference was cancelled last minute. There's no reason for him to speak, given the fact that he swept the Assembly and the Lok Sabha elections in the state of Andhra Pradesh. He's cancelled that press conference because he knows that one question and only one question will be asked. Can I ask you then, has the TDP, Imran, made up its mind that they are going to be sticking with their alliance partner, which is the BJP?
Well, there's a lot of disturbance here. I couldn't hear your question, but if I get it right, is that Chandrababu Naidu just now is having a talks with Pawan Kalyan. We are at the Janasena party now. There is a lot of celebration happening here, and this is the first time I'm informed that Chandrababu Naidu has visited Janasena's office. So behind the closed doors here, there is next meeting happening with them about the seat sharing, what names should be there as part of the cabinet, and after that seat tickets, what seat sharing discussions happened, they will announce the seats after the NDA meeting is over. We're getting to know that Chandrababu Naidu is flying in a special chartered flight along with Pawan Kalyan and others to Delhi, along with the list of candidates whom they will part of the cabinet. And as part of celebration today, the joint alliance between them, there's a cake is also here to seal their alliance. And as part of it, tomorrow Chandrababu Naidu will be flying in a special flight, and there are names. What we're getting to know is being finalized, discussed right now behind the doors here. What you see between Chandrababu Naidu and Pawan Kalyan, how much will go to BJP, how much will go to Pawan Kalyan, how much go to TDP. Now, the very also is a question about key portfolios that's under discussion, and all this will be along with Pawan Kalyan will discuss with the Prime Minister, and after the NDA meet, they will announce it. Today was a press conference. The media waited for 8 hours over this particular issue, and more importantly, about the special status for Andhra Pradesh. And one informing us.
Okay, Imran. There's a disturbance there, and I just want to take a second to explain to our viewers why Imran's line is not exactly clear. It's because he is on a live view, and usually live views become weak if there are many networks that are functioning in that particular area. And Imran just pointed out that the Janasena office is right now completely jam-packed. But the important information that Imran is getting us is Chandrababu Naidu, the man of the moment, the kingmaker as it were, will be flying down to Delhi in a special plane. Why is that? Why did he cancel his press conference today? Why is he not saying that he is going to be sticking to his alliance partner, which is the BJP? These are interesting questions. And as we look at those interesting questions, here's something else that is coming in, ladies and gentlemen. Again, piece of breaking news coming in on the show. The Rashtrapati Bhavan has issued a statement. We'll go to that. They are saying that we will remain close to the general public from June 5th, which means tomorrow, to June 9th, 2024, due to preparation for forthcoming events of the swearing-in ceremony of the Council of Ministers at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. So this is very interesting information. And why do I say it's interesting? Because the India Alliance has still not made it clear whether they will attempt to form a government by reaching out to the TDP and the JDU. Tomorrow they are going to meet their allies. What if they decide that they indeed do want to go ahead and form the government and give it a try, or a shot at least? If that is the case, will the Rashtrapati Bhavan allow it? For the moment, the Rashtrapati Bhavan is saying we are closed for business from June 5th to 9th. Seems that the Rashtrapati Bhavan has decided that Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be sworn in for a third time. Given the fact, if you look at the numbers on your screens, ladies and gentlemen, given the fact that the NDA does have the mandate of the people, yes, they are down 57 seats. Yes, they are down 57 seats, but the mandate clearly is with the NDA. As we see these shots of Prime Minister Modi at the BJP headquarters, expected to speak at 8:45. Kishori Lal ji is joining us on the broadcast from Amethi. Giant killer. Kishori Lal ji, namaskar. Thank you very much for joining us. एंड आपको बहुत बहुत बधाई. अब मेरे को याद है जब आपका नाम अनाउंस किया था अमेठी से, तो आप खुद ही घबरा गए थे कि अरे मुझे तो पता ही नहीं था. Many congratulations. This has worked out very well for you, Kishori Lal ji. ये हुआ कैसे? आप तो जायंट किलर बन गए.
नहीं, ये तो परिवार का निर्णय था, तो मैं उसको कबूल किया कि भाई ठीक है, आप कह रहे हैं तो मेरे को लड़ना है तो लड़ूंगा, क्योंकि मेरा काम 40 साल से लड़ाने का ही रहा एक्चुअली. ठीक है, तो अपना इलेक्शन लड़ने में थोड़ी घबराहट तो होती है. लड़ाना बहुत आसान है, लड़ना बड़ा मुश्किल होता है. तो थोड़ा घबराहट थी, लेकिन प्रियंका जी आई, राहुल जी आए, अखिलेश जी आए, खरगे जी आए, इन्होंने जीत मेरी आसान बना दी.
किशोरी लाल जी, आप कह रहे हैं आप थोड़े घबराए हुए थे, लेकिन मतलब एक दो बार तो मैं भी आपसे मिली हूँ, लेकिन कई पत्रकार जो अमेठी बहुत रेगुलरली आते हैं बोलते हैं देखिए आप लोग सोच रहे हैं दैट ही इज अ अंडरडॉग. बात यह है कि किशोरी लाल जी अमेठी का चप्पा जानते हैं, और किशोरी लाल जी अमेठी में लगभग सब लोगों को जानते हैं. तो इलेक्शन लड़ रहे हैं, ये मत सोचिए कि स्मृति ईरानी क्योंकि बीजेपी से आती हैं, क्योंकि उन्होंने राहुल गांधी को हराया है, इसका ये मतलब नहीं है. दिस इज अ डन डील.
नहीं, देखिए, मैं ये कहूँगा कि गांधी परिवार यहाँ के अमेठी के रोम में बसा है. ठीक है, तो ये अगर कोई सोचता है कि यहाँ गांधी परिवार कुछ नहीं है, तो गलत उसका सोचना है. ठीक है, और गांधी परिवार को अमेठी और रायबरेली में अंडर एस्टिमेट करना ये बहुत बड़ी भारी भूल होती है लोगों की.
तो आपको लगता है कि स्मृति ईरानी ने गांधी परिवार को अंडर एस्टिमेट किया अमेठी में?
नहीं, मैं उनका तो नाम नहीं लूंगा. मैंने बात अपनी कह दिया.
अच्छा, एक बात बताइए कि इन हाइंडसाइट बहुत लोग कह रहे थे, किशोरी लाल जी, एंड आई नो यू आर क्लोज टू द फैमिली, आपने 40 साल से जो है गांधी परिवार का काम संभाला है, अमेठी में इलेक्शंस लड़वाए हैं. कई लोगों ने कहा था कि अमेठी छोड़ के भाग रहे हैं राहुल गांधी, भाग रहे हैं क्योंकि उनको पता है कि वो स्मृति ईरानी के हाथों हार जाएंगे. इन दी एंड डू यू फील कि कांग्रेस पार्टी ने जो अपना कैलकुलेशन किया था राहुल गांधी को रायबरेली से लड़ाने का और आपको अमेठी से लड़ाने का, वो कैलकुलेशन एक्चुअली बिल्कुल सही था?
नहीं देखिए, मतलब ये जो आप कह रही हैं ये तो मेरे को पता नहीं इसके पीछे क्या ग्राउंड है। मैं तो लास्ट मोमेंट तक गांधी परिवार का वेट कर रहा था।
हाँ।
ठीक है, तो मैं नॉमिनेशन की तैयारी में था, यहाँ सारा कुछ कर लिया था, लेकिन अब इसके पीछे क्या रीज़न रहा होगा, क्योंकि प्रियंका जी ने विश्वास किया मेरे ऊपर, सोनिया जी ने विश्वास किया, राहुल जी ने विश्वास किया मेरे ऊपर, तो मैंने यहाँ जनता की मदद से उस विश्वास को तोड़ा नहीं, और जनता ने मेरे को संबल दिया कि मैं उस विश्वास के ऊपर उनकी खरा उतरा।
चलिए किशोरी लाल जी, many congratulations. You have emerged as the giant killer in this election, just like Smriti Irani 5 years ago had emerged as the giant killer in Amethi. So many congratulations to you. The Congress party is on a resurgence, ladies and gentlemen. From 52 that they had managed across India last time, they have almost doubled their tally. We've already told you what the Rashtrapati Bhavan is saying. They're saying they'll remain closed for business from the general public from June 5th to 9th. Let me also quickly, this is a picture of the Gandhi family post the press conference, where a victory sign, and there's Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge in the picture as well. But ladies and gentlemen, before I go to my guest this evening, let me just tell you that the Prime Minister has arrived at the BJP headquarters in the national capital. He's expected to speak at about 8:45 p.m. These pictures that you're seeing are live pictures that are coming to us. So when the Prime Minister begins to speak, that is when we'll go to him. For the moment, I'm introducing my guest this evening, Surabhi Hodigere, spokesperson of the BJP, joining us on the broadcast. Meeta Chakrabarti is Congress spokesperson, joining us on the broadcast as well. Tariq Khan is a national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. And Mahesh Tapase is spokesperson of the NCP. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Surabhi, yes, the NDA has won. But to you, does this victory feel like a defeat?
I mean, the question in itself seems like an oxymoron because it's victory is a victory, Shreya. I think that, there is a jubilant mood in the party headquarters currently. Yes, we had set a different target, but it's single past the post majority system. And here we are. NDA has the required numbers, as well as the BJP is the single largest party. So we're looking forward to a third term of the Prime Minister. This is history in the making, the second only Prime Minister to have a third term in independent India. And, I think the Karyakartas should be extremely proud for the hard work that they've put in, because after 2 terms, after 10 consecutive years, the difference between the first party and the second party that have in the hierarchy is close to 140 seats, which is a huge number in itself. So 240 by ourselves, it's a fantastic performance. And any sort of review, any sort of understanding of where we could have done better, that is a part and parcel of our electioneering process.
Okay.
That will definitely go on.
I think this is a data set and data point that our viewers should remember. The fact also is, Surabhi, I'm just pointing this out to you as well, that if you look at the BJP's individual tally, then it is more than the India Alliance put together. So, when we talk about who the mandate has gone to, very clearly the mandate has gone to the NDA. Has it gone to the BJP? Well, Surabhi is absolutely right. They are the single largest party. But Surabhi, here's the thing. Forget 400 Par. That was a war cry. That was rhetoric. But the least that the BJP was expected to get was 303. Turns out that the BJP on its own right now is not even getting numbers that will give it the halfway mark, which is 272.
Look, the expectation that one sets going into an election is driven by different factors. And sure, there were certain expectations that our Karyakartas had, given that there was a 303 mandate the last time around. But we went into a coalition knowing that there could be different possibilities. We have made the right strategic sort of decisions in terms of our coalition partners. And therefore, as the single largest party that has emerged today, we are bound to sort of, form government with our pre-poll alliance. So that's what's going to happen. Losses and the margins keep changing across history, but the truth of the matter and the fact of the matter is that Prime Minister Narendra Modi will, continue to be the Prime Minister for the third term in Bharat.
Okay, I'm waiting to hear what the Prime Minister says. He's looking a bit grim, but maybe that's just the angle that I have right now, because the pictures that are coming to us, courtesy the BJP, this feels like a full-fledged victory parade, almost like 400 Par has already happened.
Number one, the takeaway of this election is that the cleverest person amongst all of us is the public. Not you, not me, not Mr. Modi, not Congress, not anybody. The cleverest is Janta. Sab janti hai. Number two, the resources which we lacked as a combination of India is a ratio of 1:10, Shreya. Take it electoral bonds, take the machinery of the government, take the agencies, take anything. With 1/100th the fraction, to have put up this show is incredible, something which is not realized, not stated, and underestimated. Number three, make no mistake about it. This was the election of Modi versus everybody in the India Alliance. There was no NDA. Everything was in the name of Modi. It was a referendum of Modi, by Modi, for Modi. Well, if you prepare to have that referendum, of course you are brave. I applaud it. You must also be ready to take the result of that referendum. That referendum has given you, as Modi, 234, 235, 240, I don't know the exact figure. It is 35 less than a majority. Yes, as a pre-declared alliance, you may have a majority, but if you take away two Johnny-come-latelys, very recent joiners, the two ends, one of Andhra, one of Bihar, then what are you? Mr. Modi by himself is what then? Less that by 40 or something, 40, 45, you know where the referendum stands. So in that sense, it's a takeaway, is a rejection of the one person, one idea, one identity election. And just to end very quickly, a false narrative is going around again and again that they are double our seats. Please, please don't say that. You forget that we have got, say, about 100 or just under 100. But we fought only 282 seats. We didn't fight. We ceded almost just under half to our alliance partners. Whereas the BJP fought 432 seats. So this false narrative going around that we got 99 or 100 and they got 240 is a false narrative. And also, of course, it has several other takeaways. Okay. It has takeaways about the limits of divisiveness, the limits of religious divide, the limits of the politics of provocation, intimidation, identity politics on religious terms, on caste terms, all divisive. Aapka Mangal Sutra le lenge, aapka ye le lenge, aapka wo le lenge, etc., etc. And as I've always said, it should be, it was, and it is, and rightly we did it. It's an aggregation of state results. India is a federal country. It should be an aggregation of state results. So, I mean, there are so many takeaways. I'll give you only a quick list.
We have enough time. Prime Minister Modi, if my estimates are correct, will only start speaking at 9 o'clock. So we have time to chat a little more. Can I ask you, Mr. Singhvi, then? But look, fact is, if you just look at the numbers on our screens, fact also is that the BJP is the single largest party in India right now with the numbers that we have, right? So to that extent, the mandate to rule is the BJP's. Now, I want to ask you, will the India Alliance make an attempt at government formation, or will they sit in the opposition? Because they have not got the mandate to rule.
Look, let's get 2 or 3 things clear. One, I am nobody to make such comments before the alliance meets tomorrow. The Congress president said so. So you have to wait, have to be patient. Whatever I say has nothing to do with what the alliance will decide tomorrow. They'll take a considered decision. That caveat you must put uppermost. Number two, yes, we may not have got the direct mandate, as you put it, but make no mistake about it. Mr. Modi has also not got the mandate. He has also not got the mandate. Anybody, and I can only say this, and it's from my own side, obviously the alliance is not met. Anybody and everybody who shares the view that the idea of India, which we share, is correct, that the idea of India, of the Constitution of India, which needs to be promoted, is our idea, is always free to support us. Who that will be, I cannot tell you today. Why that will be, I cannot tell you today. Whether it will be also, I cannot tell you today. But to suggest that you have a mandate to rule with 234, with the balance 40, 50, 60, about 40 of those 60, as I said, are very, very recent marriages. They are shaky marriages.
Okay, Mr. Singhvi, then last question to you, and it's on Chandrababu Naidu. Look, he was supposed to do a press conference today. He, after all, is the king in Andhra Pradesh, the kingmaker in Delhi. He decided he doesn't want to speak to the press. Reporters waited for him for 8 hours, so that tells us a story. What also tells us a story is that he's taking a chartered flight out of Andhra Pradesh and coming to Delhi tomorrow. Is it for a quick chat with the India Alliance, or is it for a quick chat with Narendra Modi and the BJP?
He's a good friend. I was with him, the main person who did the EVM issue in 2019. He's a very wise, seasoned politician. It is you to ask him, not me. And he's the best person to answer, but I don't think you're getting him on your camera. So don't make me a poor substitute.
No. Okay. No, we are not getting him because he's very cleverly decided he doesn't want to answer some tough questions today. Maybe by tomorrow evening, but certainly not today. He'll take some time to finish eating his cake and the cherry on top and decide what he wants to do.
Yeah, well, I mean, in a lighter vein, I'm sure he's not trying to have his cake and eat it too. I think, these are decisions taken by other persons, but I think your statement about him not issuing a press statement today is pregnant with meaning.
Okay. We'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you, Mr. Singhvi, for your time here on Mirror Now. Thank you very much indeed. It's been a good day for the Congress Party and the India Alliance. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, I'm slipping into a quick break on the show. Up next, we'll go to the pictures that are coming to us from the BJP headquarters and we'll go back to our guests as well. For the moment, a very quick break.